So I got the results from my university just 2 days ago. I bawled my eyes out. There's a few things I want to discuss today. Basically, I didn't get the EC granted, which means I don't get a third attempt at the resits that I failed. I passed most of my exams and I only had a few outstanding for next year. And because I didn't pass these two, I failed by 3 points. I failed overall the whole course overall. And it was so hard for me to just like read the letter, you know. I think what frustrates me even more, like I told you before, my focus was gone and I really should have applied for these earlier for the extenuating circumstances, but I know a whole bunch of people who applied for extenuating circumstances with a bogus sick note. They weren't sick, but they were just like, I just need more time to study. And they didn't actually need them, and they just wanted to have an easier workload by deferring some exams, and they just gave a sick note and lied about being sick, and they got it. And here I was providing my life to them, my personal emails to my father's emails to me, talking about his cancer, very personal email from my aunt telling me about all the shit that was going on, including my father still having cancer and my other aunt nearly dying last year. It was just, you know, all the evidence, all my emails back and forth discussing the death of my pugs, and, you know, everyone, just evidence of everyone talking about it, and screenshots and a letter providing them with everything they needed to know. And it was, you know, when I told my tutor what was going on, he's like, oh my god, if I was going through that, I would not have been able to do the bar. There was just no way I would have been able to do that. So it was really surprising to everyone knowing that I was embarking on the bar while all this shit was going on. And it's just really upsetting because I got some really good grades, especially with my advocacy exams, and it's all out the window now. Fast forward, I cried a lot, and thank God Mum was really, really supportive, and she was like, you know what, let's see what we can do. You know, don't worry about, because, you know, my whole thing was, oh my god, I want to pay you back, and, you know, I don't have a job right now. And she's like, Tina, you still have 2 law degrees. You're still in the, you know, in a very small percentile of people, you know, that aren't as lucky as you or that have these degrees. And it's true, the BPTC is arguably one of the most difficult courses, most stressful and expensive courses in the world. And you're with the smartest batch of people, and you end up feeling really competitive and arrogant and worthless and stupid when you're constantly being teamed up against each other, and it's just always you're around each other. And even though, you know, some of it may not be all that difficult in isolation, when you have all of them together, it is so overwhelming, and they just pile it all on you. The teaching isn't the best, you know, like some teachers are, like I said in my other video, some teachers are really amazing, some aren't, and it's something that you really need to drop everything for. Anyways, apart from that, it's very difficult, you know, but at least it wasn't 3 years. It was only 9 months, an expensive 9 months. But, you know, when I start working, I'm going to pay my mum back. And I'm just really thankful that she's being so supportive. And then I also found out some good news so I have 2 law degrees, and it's quite rare that I have 2. The reason I have 2 is because I had a gap in between my undergrad law and I came back. So I finished that first law degree, and I was required to sit the conversion law degree, which is the other type of degree that people do once they have already graduated. And that is the intense GDL course. And that's just like way harder than the spread out 3-year LLB law degree. But I have both. So I've been through hell twice, including the bar 3 times now. But I have 2 papers to show for it. And so I've got 2 law degrees still behind me. Because of my LLB, I can go straight into the New York bar here in America. And that was light at the end of the tunnel for me. Because if I can do the English bar, I can definitely do the New York bar, because the English bar is way more difficult. People that have done both have said it. And the New York bar, although it's intense, is nowhere near, I mean, I'm not saying it's easy, but it's nowhere near as hellish as the BPTC, the UK bar. And that's why the UK bar takes 9 months, because it's just so much more. No doubt it's still going to be difficult, but I need to be very thankful that I'm able to do it. And they have this great policy here in America that if you fail the first time, you get a free reset the second time, which is pretty cool. We have that in England, but it's not so, like, they do a money back thing here in America, and that's really cool. They do not do that in England. They're like, okay, if you reset, you actually have to pay us to reset, and you don't get any money back. Yeah, it's not like that here. The policies are better here. So I'm focusing on that. There's an alternate route into the bar in England. Again, as you guys know, time is very relative. I always need to focus on that, because, and I always tell people this too, I'm like, it doesn't matter how old you are, doesn't matter, if you've already gone to uni and you've had an epiphany and you want to switch your career very late, even in your 50s. Like, I know my aunties have switched careers and they're in their 50s and they've done it really late, and and they're so happy. The point is, in life, time's going to pass no matter what you do. So just make the most of it and do what you want to do. It's not a race. It's not guaranteed to make you happy if you're rushing. And it's all about the experiences for me, because you don't know how long you are on this earth. You don't know how long you're here for. You could be very young, a kid, get hit by a bus tomorrow. You could be very old and just stuck with the same career, even if it was a good career, but a career that your heart wasn't into, and a career that you were miserable in, and you didn't have any other kind of experiences, and you didn't have any other kind of things going on. I am very thankful. I've done a lot. Like, especially for my age, I've done a lot in my life. I have lived in Vegas, I've lived in Toronto, I've lived in London, I've lived in DC, I lived in a lot of places, and I've done a lot of things. I've done other things for my career. I went back to law school, I got my 2 law degrees. I'm very happy and thankful for that. The bar is just something else. It's a professional course. It's a course to prep you to be a barrister in England, and I shouldn't have done it at that time. If you can't focus, it's going to affect you if you can't focus. And I admit I wasn't able to, doing the work and stuff. You're not going to retain any information if your mind's not in it, if your heart's not there. There's just too much going on at the time. Now that this has all happened, I was so thankful to find out that with my LLB I can go straight into the New York bar, because the eligibility requirements used to be different before. Before, you actually needed to be bar qualified in your country of education. Like, I would have needed to have the bar or the LPC behind me before I embarked on the New York bar. Now it's not like that anymore. They accept the LLB now, and that's great. So with my law degree, I can do that, and I can be qualified. I can be a qualified attorney in America. And the great thing of being dual qualified is that I can switch back and forth. They're opening a whole bunch of American law firms in England more and more every year, and it's growing. And the cross-border thing is a very lucrative area right now. So this is what happened. So once I finish the bar, pass with flying colours, which I will, I'm a lot happier here. I have Nova, and I want to thank you all for the lovely comments from my last video. You guys were so sweet. I think I read them like 10 times over, because it made me so happy to read all of your comments. And and very, very sweet and touching. And thank you so much. And you know, it does help having Nova. It does help having a little puppy around, because there's not a single minute that goes by that she doesn't make me laugh or smile or anything. She's just such a sweet, lovely girl. And she's on my floor right now. I just want to show her to you. There she is. There's my little girl. There's my little girl. She's beautiful. So, yeah, life happens. And it doesn't mean it's the end of the world. And okay, so let me explain this to you. So I keep cutting myself off and like getting distracted. So once I finish the New York bar, I'm qualified as an attorney in America. I can actually go to England and take an exam, just an exam. And that will qualify me as a solicitor, and I won't even need a training contract. So it's actually better, even though this is taking me longer and I'm going in an indirect route. It's actually easier, because getting a training contract is quite difficult. Not as difficult as getting pupillage, but they're both very, very competitive, and not many places to go around for the amount of lawyers they're pumping out each year. So I won't need a training contract, and I can be dual qualified that way. Then once I'm a solicitor, I can switch to the bar, and I can be bar qualified in England, and I only have to do half the modules, because I will already have got my qualification in being a solicitor. So I'll already be qualified. See, once you're a solicitor and you do the bar, you only have to do half of it. So partial courses, and that's going to be a lot better for me. And by then, I will have my career already sorted. So it will take a little more time, but I'm getting there. And it's better to sacrifice a few more years of studying and having a better life in the end of it. So I'm just really, really happy. I'm very, very... At the same time, I'm like, oh my God, I wasn't the only one who failed. There are a lot of others. Apparently, lots of people failed this certain exam, the opinion writing exam, this year, and even failed the research. So I'm not alone, but it doesn't make me feel any better that a lot of people failed too. But I mean, it is a very hard course, and the next time I do it, I will be ready for it. And at least this time around, I can experience the New York bar. I've never done law in America, so it's going to be very interesting. And you know, I've got my family here, so it's a good support system. My sweetheart is back in London, but I do speak to him every day, and he's just happy that I'm getting back on the horse and I'm not letting anything knock me down. At the end of the day, you know, I was up against very fierce competition, people who were focused versus me who was not focused, and, you know, it wasn't my time. So, but I know I'm smart, and I can do this, and I'm going to start the New York bar in May. And then the final New York bar exams are going to be in July. So it's at the course starts at the end of May. I'm doing the summer course. I'm not doing the winter course, because the winter course starts December 22nd. 22nd! I mean, and then it goes all the way through. You only have Christmas off, and then you've got lectures every day until February. So that wasn't good, because my sweetheart is trying to come see me, and if he's here and I have to study, it's going to be like, yeah, it's not going to be nice if I have to leave half the day and he's here. So I'm going to do it over the summer, and I need a bit of a break right now anyways. And I get to see my family as well. So we're going to try and see my family in Canada too. So we're going to see how it all goes. And yeah, that's that. And that's my update. I feel bad now, because, you know, I have so many messages from you, especially prospective law students and people going into law school, the GDL, the bar, whatever, and I just feel really not qualified to advise about the bar anymore, because I have not accomplished it this year. I still can advise about some things. I can still tell you exactly, you know, it's different. A lot of people don't practice what they preach. A lot of people have passed their exams with flying colours because of my advice, but you know, giving advice and taking it yourself is completely different. I wasn't in a position to focus, but I can easily tell people what they need to do. So don't feel, I hope you guys haven't written me off as like, don't come to me for advice, because I I'm really happy to help you guys and whatever questions you may have, and I'm more than happy to go through any processes with you when it comes to the bar and this and that. I still know it all. Just doing the exam is another thing. The exams are a completely different skill set. There's a method to do the exams. What's really difficult is, even my boyfriend, brilliant. He got like such brilliant grades most of the year. He failed criminal and then he had to do it again. Thank God he passed the second time. But the problem is, a lot of the exams on the bar, they're split into two halves, meaning even if you get 100% on the first half, if you don't pass the second half individually, you fail the overall exam. And that's where I got screwed over a lot. I would pass the first half, or I'd pass the second half, and then barely pass the other half. Like you could get an A on part A or part B. It's separated into multiple choice and short answer questions. The problem with short answer, usually I would do worse on short answer because you have to regurgitate exactly the words from the book. Even if you get the right answer, if you have written in your own words, you're not going to get the points for that. Multiple choice is created to really screw you up. But I usually pass my multiple choice. It's always the short answer that has screwed me over, and then I'd fail the overall exam. It's really difficult, and the threshold is high as 60% for a pass, just a pass. And you have to pass both parts. My boyfriend got an A on the first half. Like he was, I think he got high 70s, 80s in England. That's an A, and then the second half he probably was missing by a few marks, and that's it. He failed overall. So. But I'm very happy for him that he passed the bar and he made it the second time, and he's being called soon, and I'm so happy and proud of him. And I'll get there too. It's just going to take me more time, but at least once I get to England, I will be dual qualified. I'll be also an American attorney, so that's really interesting, really fun. It would be something different on my resume and something else that I can offer. Anyway, I hope you all have a great rest of the weekend, and I love you all. Bye.